All right, so I am going to do a role-playing activity. Role-playing is when I'm going to go outside and I'm going to come in and I'm going to act out an activity. And I want you to pay attention to any clues and see if you can figure out what I'm doing. Thumbs up that you understand what role-playing means. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I'm going to go outside. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am so excited to do something with you guys right now, but just a minute. Stop. What do you think I'm going to do? Raise your hand if you have an idea. Tyler.
Read a book.
You think I'm going to read a book? Did I say I was going to read a book? What gave you the idea that I was going to read a book? Bridget.
You got the book and you got your glasses on.
Okay. What else did I do?
You sat down in a chair.
Yes, I sat down in a chair and got coffee. What you guys just did is called predicting. Predicting. Have you heard that word before?
Yes.
Predictions, predicting. Okay, so you might not necessarily be correct, but you're paying attention to clues. And that's often what we do when we read a book. Any book that we're reading, we pay attention to clues and make predictions of what might happen, right? Okay, you have 2 pages in front of you, and we're going to practice making predictions right now in this lesson, okay? So the first one, the first page that I want you to look at is called Learning to Make Predictions. Everybody find that page and hold it up. Tyler, do you have a question?
I don't have the other page.
Do you have this one that says Learning to Make Predictions? Okay, I will make sure you have that second page when we get to it, okay? So everybody has that? Wonderful. So I'm going to do the first one for you. I'm going to model the first one. And then as a whole class, we're going to do some of the other ones. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking at number 1. You can read along to yourselves while I'm reading it out loud to you. Mariah is a very conscientious girl. So I know that Mariah is aware of what she does. She probably wants to make some good decisions. She had a hard day at school today. That's kind of tough when you have a hard day at school sometimes, isn't it? Mariah found out that she failed a quiz, and 2 of her friends left her out at recess. I'm not so sure Mariah's feeling happy right now. When she got home, she grabbed the box of tissues and went into her room. Okay, so now it's asking me to make a prediction of what's going to happen next. So I know Mariah is sad. She failed her test. Her friends left her out at recess. She gets home and grabs a box of tissues. I don't think she has a cold. So sometimes I use tissues when I have a cold, and I don't think she has a cold. So I'm going to predict that she feels like she's going to cry.
Yeah.
And she's going to use the tissues for her tears and her nose. Do you guys think the same?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So what I just did is I modeled for you just what you might be thinking when you're making predictions. So let's read as a whole class, and if you have some ideas of clues that you see where you can make a prediction, I want you to raise your hand, okay? And we'll see if we can figure this out together. Number 2, Robert is a great teacher. He wants all of his students to succeed. There are 3 students who did poorly on the last math test. He checked his schedule and asked the 3 students if they have any time to meet after school. What do you think will happen next? What's your prediction? John.
My prediction is they're gonna. Oh, I forgot now.
You forgot? That's
Yeah,
okay.
I just forgot.
All right. Bridget, can you help me?
So he grabbed the kids and asked them if we could talk after school because he wants to know why they failed the test.
Okay. And who is Robert? Who is Robert? Yes.
The teacher?
The teacher. Okay. So he's getting the kids after school. Maybe he wants to talk to them. Okay? What else might you predict? What do you think?
What I think is, after school, the kids are like gonna do like some math or reading.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
I feel like the kids are going to go and try to redo their test and see what they do now with him to try to improve on it.
Okay. To try to improve. So it seems like they're going to have some sort of help, right? Whether they're going to work the problems or redo the test or talk with the teacher. Okay? Tyler.
So it's kind of like what we're doing right now.
Kind of like what we're doing right now. Tell me more.
So like, so what we're doing right now, how and what they are doing, sometimes some people in this group do intervention.
Okay.
And it's kind of like intervention.
Okay, so we're kind of working through some problems together with the teacher and students.
Yeah.
Okay, so look in the text and tell me what clue can you get? What's a sentence that gives you the clue that the kids might be talking with the teacher or might be redoing a test? Take a look and underline with your pencils the words that give you a clue. Cooper, can you pick up a pencil and see if you can find the words that make you make that prediction?
He wants all of his students to succeed.
Did you underline he wants all of his students to succeed? That was a great clue. Good clue. Does anybody have another clue that would help that make the prediction? Tyler.
There are 3 students who did
Poorly.
on the past math test.
Okay, there's another clue. There are 3 students who did poorly on a math class. Yes. Yes.
He wants all of his students to succeed. There were 3 students who did. There was 3 students who did poorly on their last math test,
Okay.
and he checked his schedule and asked 3 students if they had any time to meet.
Okay, so that whole text was a clue to you? Okay.
Yeah, well, except for Rubbers.
Except for Robert is a great teacher. Okay, so what I want to do for numbers 3 and 4, I want you to pair up. So you guys are kind of sitting in threes. So we're going to have one of you come up here next to Bridget and be Bridget's partner, and the 2 of you will be partners, okay? Tyler, thank you. Come bring your chair up here. Perfect. And then Johnny Cooper, if you guys can be partners, and you are going to look at numbers 3 and 4.
Tucker Williams, please come to the front office. Tucker Williams.
Okay, look at numbers 3 and 4 and see if you can make your prediction. Number 1, make a prediction. And number 2, underline what gave you that clue. Okay? So go ahead and begin. You guys are going to partner up and take a look. Did you find something? Okay, so write down, when you make your prediction, go ahead and write down the words for your prediction. So what's going to happen? Write down the words. So are you working together with Bridget on number 3? So underline where your clues are. So read together, and then underline where your clues are and decide what's going to happen next. So my prediction is also asking yourself, what is going to happen next? Okay? And then write it down. So what is going to happen next, and then write it down under my prediction. Okay, so read through here, and what is going to happen next? Okay, so you guys underline some good clues, right? So now write down your prediction. What do you think is going to happen? prediction. John and Cooper, are you guys working as a partner? Okay, talking to each other and coming up with your answers. I see some good thoughts going down on paper. And then once you finish with 3, go ahead and go to 4 and do the same thing. Read it through with your partner and underline some clues.
Wait, on these lessons or these?
No, we did this as a class. You don't have to write down any predictions here because we talked about it together. But just down here you do, okay? So it looks like you guys have good thought there. So go ahead and go to number 4 and read it through. Do you have a question, John? Oh, you want to be able to answer when we get there? Perfect. So I will call you when we get there, okay? But see if you can go to number 4 and do the same thing. Go through, read the text, write down what do you think will happen next, and underline the clues. Okay, so do that for number 4 right now. Okay. Okay. Ah, good thought. Ah, you do have 2 clues, don't you? Right, perfect. So you don't have to write the sentence down for evidence. Just underlining it will be your evidence, but write down what your prediction is. So now go ahead and go to number 4. So now go to number 4 here. You guys want to read it together? Okay. John, can you read it with Cooper? Okay. You guys read number 4 together? Do you have a guess? You do? You figured it out, or you think you know? We're not always right, but sometimes we are based on the clues.
I think he's angry.
Maybe I'll have a call you from before, huh? Okay, well you guys are partners. That's good, right? Okay.
Where's best friend? I feel cute.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and write down your prediction. You guys are doing a good job discussing it. Now go ahead and write. Did you come with a guess of what's going to happen? Not yet. What do you think, John? Is this a tricky one? A little bit?
I thought he ate something bad, but it's stiff lunch.
Oh, okay. There's your guess. There's your guess. Good job. Good job with the clues. So go ahead and write down your guess. Write down your prediction. Some of you are almost ready to go over your answers. Okay.
I have
Okay.
a really huge
Okay. Okay. So that's a different guess, but you know what? That based on your clues, that's your prediction. That might be what happens, right? Okay. So let's take a look at number 3. Do I have someone who would like to volunteer to read? Okay, perfect. Why don't you go ahead and read?
So number 2.
Number 3. I have never seen that name before, so I can understand why you looked at me with puzzled eyes. It looks like her name's spelled F-R-E-E-N-I-T-A. So I think that if we think phonetically, it might be Freenita. Freenita? That's a pretty name. I just haven't heard it before. Okay, go ahead.
Because I know F-R-E-E is clean.
Okay. Community center.
Where there's a swimming pool with a slide. We saw her walking down the street with a towel and goggles and 2 friends.
Okay, that's the text that we read, and we have to make a prediction. Okay, so does somebody have a prediction of what happens next? Yes.
I have a prediction that is Renita and her friends are going to go swimming.
Okay, great prediction. And you know what I really liked? Is you answered that in a complete sentence. You said, I have a prediction that Franita and her friends are going to go swim. Nice job. That was really nice. Okay. And what gave you those clues? What would be some of the things that you might underline that make you think that would happen next? Yes, go ahead and continue.
I just saw her walking down the street with a towel and goggles with two friends.
Good. So kind of like I had my glasses and book and sat down, right? She had a towel and goggles and she's going to, or there's a pool nearby. So that's your evidence. Excellent. Let's have a reader for number 4. Okay, let's go with the back row. John, why don't you go ahead and read number 4?
Okay. Jimmy had skipped lunch to go to a student council meeting. His stomach grumbled all through science class and on the bus after school. When he got home, he dared through the door and dropped his backpack.
Okay, so that's our text, and we have to think what's going to happen next. What is my prediction? And you know what? I heard some different predictions, and that's okay, because a prediction is a guess based on clues. We don't know what happened next, because we haven't read the text, right? So John, why don't you go ahead and finish? Since you read, do you have a prediction?
He is hungry.
He is hungry. Raise your hand if you thought he might be hungry. Okay, good. Does someone have a different prediction? Type.
He may have went there because sometimes when you don't eat lunch, you sometimes puke.
Okay, so maybe he was sick to his stomach. Maybe he didn't eat lunch because his stomach was hurting. And when he got home, he threw the backpack down so he's going to throw up. Poor kid, right? Different prediction. But that's okay, because those clues are good clues for your thinking that, right? Okay, excellent. So your second sheet, I want you to work with your partner again, okay? And I'm going to go through the first one together to kind of tell you what I'm looking for. The first one says, Martin was feeling bad. See how there's in 2 columns here? Does everybody have it in 2 columns? Do you guys have the sheet, Cooper and John? And you want to pull that sheet out in front of you? Perfect. It's called Making Predictions Matching. What does that mean, matching? What do you usually do when you're matching? Bridget?
You're putting together stuff.
Putting together stuff, right? Have you guys ever played a match game where you're turning over and you're trying to match 2 picture cards? Okay, you have? Have you ever had a big basket of socks and you're pulling socks out and you're trying to match them?
Yes.
Something that goes together. So something that's going to make sense to go together. So this is match 2. Are you okay? No.
Maybe.
Maybe? What's my prediction? You're coughing. Have you had a cold? Okay, here's the first one. Martin was feeling bad about his grade on the math test. So that's the first one in this column here. So I'm going to look in the second column, and I'm going to find some descriptions about Martin, and I'm going to try to find the best one that matches what I just said. Britt, did you already read through it? You found it?
Yeah.
What did you find?
It's Joel offered to help Martin study for that. I mean, not that one. I thought it was because it's in a math test.
Okay, for the next math test. You know what, that's not a bad. Martin's feeling bad about his grade on that test. Joel offered to help Martin study for the next math test. That could work. That could work. There's another one in that column, though, that also could work. So read through there, and I'm looking for ones that say, talk about Martin. So it says, Martin returned his gift and got something different. Does that make sense? About him feeling bad about a math test? About a gift? Does that make sense? Not really. Joel and Martin carpooled to the party. Does that make sense about Martin feeling bad about his math test? Did you find it?
Bottom one.
The bottom one. What does this bottom one say? Go ahead and read it out loud.
Martin asked more questions in math class.
Does that make sense? He feels bad about his math test, so he asks more questions in math test or in his math class. That makes sense. But Joel offered to help him for his next test. That makes sense too. Okay? So draw a line to which one you like the best of the two. Yes.
Or it could be like a pattern. It could be like 3.
We'll have to see. Let's keep going. So I'm going to have you work in your pairs. John, question.
I just try to check the one that I think.
Well, what you want to do is draw a line from one to the one you think, so that we're matching them together. Does that make sense? Have you done that before?
Yeah,
So you
I've
draw a
done
line and you're going to match it. So it's almost going to look like a web at the end because you're going to have lines going from one to the next. So go ahead and work in your partners and see if you can match them. Do you have a sheet?
No.
Okay, let me give you one.
I'm hungry.
You guys are just about done to go to lunch. So
Yay.
let's go ahead and match it, and then you will be off to lunch.
Yay.
Is your stomach grumbling
I,
like our friend in our text?
it hasn't yet, but I know it will.
Not yet? Okay, so you're going to go from one side to the other. So this one, Martin, we're going to want to match it from this column to this column. So we have to find something over here. So we talked about how Martin asked more questions in math class. So can you draw a line from this, like this? Draw a line from here. Boom. Okay? And then go to the next one. Joelle and Martin, and work together as pairs and see if you can match that up. Oh, then that makes sense that she offered him help, right? So maybe that narrows it down, and the first one, this one is for this one, just like you have. So that we have more information that was revealed to us, so that made it make sense to us, right? Okay. So then look at this one and see where you think. Oh, I see a lot of independent workers. How are you doing here? Okay. So this one was going to go down to the bottom there, right? So we're matching it up there. We want to go from one column to the other. So see how Cooper has it? So let's see, Cooper. Joelle and Martin are neighbors, and they were both invited to the same party in a town 30 minutes away. Carpool to the party. Good. What about this one? Martin found out that Joelle got the same gift.
Mrs. Warner,
Uh-huh.
I feel like this is also a different, it could, like, Joel knows that Martin didn't do good well in his last one.
Yes, you're right. So that probably matches up better there. And then that means that this one would match with what we were talking about on the bottom there, right? Okay.
I wanted to do more English. And Joel knows that.
But we can't go down. We have to go across. So look at this. Look, if he says, Joelle noticed that Martin didn't do well on his math test, Joelle offered to help Martin study for the next math test. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything's going to go from one column to the other column. Okay? So Cooper, you want to go ahead and go down? So you got that one. Now what about this one? Martin found out that Joelle got the same one. Perfect. Go ahead, match it up. You finished? Great. How'd you do? Did you finish? Finished? Okay. And we're finishing up there. Perfect. So when you guys are finished, you can put your pencils down and we'll review it. And then we're done. All right. Let's go ahead. We did the first one together. Who wants to read? We'll just read the ones down here, and you tell me which one it matches up on that second column, okay? Bridget, you want to read that second one down?
Sure.
Okay.
Joel and Martin are neighbors, and they both were invited to the same party in town 30 minutes away. And this one will go Joel and Martin for the party.
Okay. Perfect. Do you guys agree? Thumbs up if that's what you got also. Thumbs down if you got something else you want to share. Okay. Looks like everybody got the same one. Good. Who wants to read this third one? Martin found. Go ahead, honey. Yes.
Okay. Martin found out that Joel got the same gift for their friend's birthday party.
Okay. Did you find a matching one?
Yeah. Wait. Mark returned his gift and got something else.
Okay. Perfect. Great.
Same thing
Good
that
job.
I got.
Did you guys, same thing?
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Same thing, Tyler?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Okay. How about Joelle noticed? Who wants to continue reading that? Perfect. Why don't you go ahead?
Joel noticed that Martin didn't do well on the last test.
Did you find a matching prediction? What was it?
My matching one was Joel offered to help Martin study for the next math test.
That matches closer than that first idea we had in the beginning, right? Great job. Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, I think we just have two more. Martin and Joelle, we're arguing. Who wants to continue that one? Okay, I think we already had. Does somebody else want to read who hasn't read? Anybody? Cooper, go ahead.
Which one?
Martin and Joelle, right here.
Martin and Joel, when for arguing about who can make more shots from the 3-point line.
Okay. Great reading, Cooper. Who wants to match that up to our prediction? Go ahead.
So it was Joel. Joel decided to join a basketball team. Because like they were arguing over something.
Okay,
about
that's
basketball.
close because it talks about basketball, right? But there's another one too. Do you see it? Okay, go ahead and read it.
Mine was Mari and Joel decided to have a basketball competition.
Same.
Okay. What do you think?
I did that video.
Okay, so they're arguing about it, and so they decide, okay, well, you know what? Let's have a competition and we'll see, right? With our basketball playing.
Yeah.
Okay, good match. Thumbs up if you got that match. That's okay, but you know what? You found something that sort of matched with the prediction, right? Because it was about basketball and Martin and Joelle. Okay? But sometimes we just look closer to the clues. The last one. Who wants to read the last one? Bridget, go ahead.
Joel wants to get a better at basketball. And one that he found was the one I found was Joel decided to join the basketball team.
Okay. Thumbs up if that's what you thought.
No.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, wonderful.
That one.
So just make sure your name's on the top of the pages, and we are done with the lesson. And I think you guys are almost ready to go back to class and go to lunch. Okay, thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate each and every one of you.